How's it going, everybody? Today, Beringer launched officially the Clone War. There's a couple more update on the way, and we're talking about Behringer. Welcome to another Money live stream. How's it going, everybody? Welcome to another Monday live stream. Nick, good to see you. Charlie, good to see you. We have some regular in the chat already. Again, we are streaming now live on YouTube and Twitch. That's not red, so it doesn't work today. So, there you go. Let me just move my chat a little bit higher. I cannot see you guys' comments fully. If you never live stream, or actually, if you ever live stream, you've encountered some technical issue. Small one today, just a chat not in the way. Creepy Walter, what's up, Walter? Good to see you. Dan, hello, Dan, I'm gonna ship your stuff today. Dan asked me if he could get some RJ45 cable or Cat5e cable for me. I'm gonna make sure that I send him the cable his way. Patrick, bonjour. Bonjour la francophonie. Bonjour tous les gens qui parlent français. Everybody else in the chat. Now on time. Okay, thank you very much for the precision, Patrick. Now on time with Europe, because, you know, wintertime, summertime change differently in different countries. Patrick is here. Always good to have you. Rolf, good to see you, man. My greatest, most present user in the live stream. Much appreciated. Nuno, good to see you, man. Is it your first time? I remember you're not a regular here. I know some people are regular and some people come from time to time when they can. I don't remember seeing you around much, so if you have any question for me, us in the chat, because I'm not the only one answering question here. We have some great knowledgeable people in the chat. Seriously. If anybody have something that you want to get more information about, make sure to drop down your comment below, or actually it's a live chat. Make sure to drop your line in the chat below, and we're going to answer that. If it's not me, it's got to be somebody else in the chat. Together as a community, we can cover a lot of ground. Edwin, good to see you, man. Good to see you. Okay, no, Europe is changing the time at the end of the month. So, okay, so it's not... Usually the stream for you guys, it's 7:30. Now it's 6:30, right? First time live, but follow your video. Thank you very much. Thank you very, very much. I hope you find some useful information in there. Hope you enjoy your Wing Compact too. So, thank you very much, Patrick, for making the time to join us today. Dan's got a question. We're going to answer that. Don't worry. Will, good to see you, man. Welcome back. So, a question from Dan. This summer, I'm doing a small festival with my wing rack. I'll be running 2 stage at the same time on my wing using multiple stage box. I've never run 2 show at the same time. Well, there's many ways to tackle this, Dan, if you ask me. The first one would be, are you okay to run with limited amount of channel? Are you good to run with 24 channel? If so, you can maybe run one DL32 on one side, the DL32 on the other side. You could work 2 people at the same time on the same console, having, you know, stage 1 being out of main 1, stage 2 being out of main 2. Is it a recipe for a disaster? I'm just gonna say, be very careful of who you work with. If you're doing both band at the same time, it's going to be a tricky situation, but definitely doable. I would try to avoid that, to be honest, but it can be done. That should not be a problem. But there's many way to approach that problem. But yes, my solution would be to run 2 stage bucks, or your wing rack on one side, stage bucks on the other, and try to run everything like if it was 2 different console, and having, you know, fixed input going on one side, fixed input on the other. You get the idea, basically. We had a question from Nuno. After a year with the big one, I found it hard to adapt. What do you mean you find it hard to adapt, Nuno? Hanger77, good to see you, man. What actually is hard for you? Rob is ghosting us today. Thank you very much for ghosting, Rob. Nuno meant the right section. Hold on. Did I miss a message here? James, you got some Dente questions for yourself? Sure. Let me see if I can have a information for you that can help you a little bit or not. Okay, we're just gonna close down on Dan's question. Stage 1 is gonna be 24 input channel, so the 24 input in the back of the wing rack. And after that, stage 2 is going to be maximum 8 input, 2 people mixing. That's going to be fine. Use main 1 and main 4 maybe to make sure that you avoid that, and use separate monitor, and you should be good to go. Definitely can be done. That's not an issue. Mean the right section. Hold on, Nuno, what do you mean by the right section? The right section on the big one, that thing over there that nobody is using? Yeah, I'm sorry, this is not a useful feature. To be honest, I've never used the right section on the full size. I'm always using the screen. This is why I believe the compact is made, so that we can have just the screen and interact with that, and having the fader in front of you. I believe it's the better way to process with these console, and I believe it's also the best way to process with most console out there. Most D-Live, the Solo one, or having physical. It's a thing that I've seen on other console, like the D-Show from Avid, but to be honest, I've never used that even on the Avid. It's not as quick as going, oh, you know what, I'm gonna go EQ and I'm just gonna do this, and after that I'm gonna go stage monitor and I'm just gonna do this. Comp, I can just come here, play around with these knobs in the bottom. To me, it's not as fast as going there. Okay, did I selected the right thing? Then maybe it's a good workaround if you have, for some reason, a broken screen. Somebody dropped something on your screen, you use a mouse, and you want to have finer control on that section. It could be a way to be helpful, but to be honest, not really something that I've used a lot. Otherwise, the workflow of the console, I'm really good with that. I know it inside out. I'm used to it. It's been 5 years since I'm working on the wing architecture. So far, so good. What else? What's happening in the chat? I've installed the broken 3 card in my wing compact. Are we still live? Hold on, guys. I may have hit the wrong button here. We're still live. I was afraid of doing this. So, if you give me 1 second here. Oh, hold on. Give me 1 second here. We're going to do this together. The mistake that I just did, and we're going to laugh about it. I just hit the go out intro or go out outro button, and I'm going to delete that one. I don't want that to happen accidentally if I hit the console. The pause button, I don't mind. But I definitely Definitely don't want to cut the stream without me noting it. Okay, let's go back to James' question. I've installed the Brooklyn 3 card in my Wing Compact. You guys are writing too much in the chat. Stop laughing about me. I installed Wing 3 Compact, a Brooklyn 3 card in my Wing Compact. Now I can communicate with the app via the network. I'm also getting clicks and pop from Dante. My first question would be, first, did you flash the right firmware for Brooklyn 3 card? The Wing firmware for a Brooklyn 3 card? If so, maybe make sure that you have all the update done. After that, hold on. After that, pretty sure I'm gonna get in trouble. If you don't have, okay, let me say it this way. Make sure that you have your firmware all up to date, and watch out for the future update on the Behringer wing. I can say that. You should eventually, if it's a common bug, let's say if it's a common bug with the Brooklyn 3 card and Brooklyn 2 card, we may see an update happening about that frequently. That's all I'm gonna say for now. What else? That question that I miss? And opening the right section is very different from the full size. Yeah, it's a little bit different. Screen protector, so far so good. Nick, thank you very much. Actually, Nick, he doesn't know that, but he's testing something for me right now. He made a custom screen protector for his Wing Compact, and as soon as he confirmed me that this is working great, I'm probably gonna order one for every single my console to protect the screen, and I will let you guys know. I will have probably a couple links down below for that if you guys want to order some screen protector for your console. If Nick tested it and it's fine, I'm gonna say it's probably gonna be fine for most of you guys. How can you change / reinstall the firmware for the card? That's all happening in Dante Controller, James. So make sure to fire up Dante Controller, go in the Dante Updater section. You can try to maybe, I never done this by the way, I never had to reflash a Dante card, but yeah, force downgrade, force upgrade, or I was about to say just force default the card. There's a way to have a safe update or safe rebuild of the card. Maybe those options, but I'm not I don't have enough knowledge in Dante stuff, and I've not done it enough to really tell you a specific detail on how to do this. It will probably the way I would go if I have any problem with that, but yes, force downgrade, force upgrade your Dante card, and make sure that you use a compatible Brooklyn 3 firmware. There's a couple versions out there for Brooklyn 2, Brooklyn 3 card. They are different physical hardware. Make sure to use the right one for that. Okay, so subject that I wanted to talk about today. I don't know if you guys live under a rock or not, but if you don't, you probably woke up this morning and saw this thing right here. Beringer released a new version, an upgraded version of their the SD 251. Those of you who remember these, the SD 251 CKs for clear. They released a pro version of that, and they also announced a new version of dual driver, the MO240 Pro. Really interesting, especially for the price. Seriously, I think the Pro one, I don't have the note in front of me, but I believe the Pro one are selling for around $40. That's gonna be the MSRP for those. Man, if they can compete with the KZ stuff, They are fairly in the same. They are in the same price range. So to be honest, man, they gonna probably disrupt the market again with those things. They seem to promise a lot. I don't know how good they would be for live and for studio. Strangely enough, the video advertised them for studio use. This is something that I've done fairly in the past using in-ear monitors in studios, but for live use, in-ear monitor have been my go-to. I don't do anybody who's not in-ear, but if they can compete with the KZ stuff, man, it's gonna be a sure shot. A lot of people probably from the church will get the full Behringer package. They're gonna buy that. They're gonna buy the P1 or the P2 if they want to go mono in-ear, and they're probably gonna choose these in-ear. I'm really curious to order a pair of MO240, the Pro Series, a new 2-driver one. Once that is officially available in Canada, I'm probably gonna try to get my hands on a pair, and we'll see what's going on from there. We'll see if I can get some mileage out of those in-ears. Probably do an A/B test like I did for the non-pro. I think we should call them the non-pro, the SD251 CK. What do you guys think about those? Are you guys gonna buy those? €35 is a great price. Yeah, it's a great price. Yeah, they do say in the video that they're also great for live use, but they are really sold as studio use headphone that do not give you leak. But it's funny because I've been doing this for years. When recording session, to exactly avoid bleeding of headphone, of click track, especially for drummer, they take it so loud that it's, well, in between the shot, you can hear the headphone bleed in the overheads. It's, yeah. Really interesting thing from Beringer. 29 euros for the SD250. They are cheaper than the older version, right? The older version cost me, I believe, 45 Canadian dollars. So, well, maybe 30 euros is right. Use the case and stuff for custom pads. Especially, yeah. Just bought a pair, the KZ, the AS24 Pro. I didn't try those. I cannot tell you how they perform. Like to check these out compared to the ZS10. Seriously, are great in-ear monitors. Those were my favorite. I don't know if you guys saw my video about my review of the few KZ in-ear that I've reviewed. I reviewed 6 different pairs. They were not the most expensive one, but they were my favorite so far. They were not really as good as my 846, but they were definitely competing. Somebody would show up on a show with, or a gig with the KZ, the ZS10, no problem at all. I know my reference into those. They will behave kind of in the same range as the 846. They do not have the dynamic range, and I'm not talking about noise floor. I'm talking about pushing, the amount of dynamic they could push in your ears, but they are definitely fine, to be honest. Side note here after that. Hold on, what did I do? Oh, damn it. Okay, I know what's happening here. Hold on, guys. I did not hit the button. Hold on. There's an automation problem. Don't move. All right, we're back. Sorry, I have a automation that every few minutes my subscribe, banner is going to display in the bottom, and it's buggy right now. Instead of displaying that banner, it's trying to kick the stream out, which is a good thing because it's just a scene change. It's not, enabling the process of stopping the stream, stopping the recording, stopping everything. So, yeah. All right, let's go back to question here from Will that says, side note, thinking about purchasing portable stage for corporate situation. Who has experience with the lightweight staging 4x4 platform industrial finish? I do have experience with those, and depending on the locking system that you get on those, you will have a good or really, really bad time. The kind of leg that you're going to use for those stage is also something that you must consider. In my experience, to be honest, those 2 inches by 2 inches leg that you screw in with an Allen key is the way to go. And rotolock mechanism is also the way to go. The other thing is, if you don't use your stage, you can tell people around you that they can rent them from you. And if you need to go with a bigger stage, you can ask your friend around you and rent their stage when needed, depending on the kind of event, you're having. So, to be honest, being like everybody else in those situations for stuff like doesn't really matter, or stuff that matters to have exactly the same thing, like staging. Also, wireless microphone. If you have a rental company and all of your friends are running ULXD, spend the money and go with that, because they can rent it from you and you can rent them from them, and you can interchange those systems for your once a year gig where you have 24 headset mic for a musical. This is the kind of thinking that after years in the business, seeing people having stuff that is not intercompatible with others, it's been bugging me. Make it like everybody else. There's a good reason why most people use the same kind of equipment for power, microphone, staging. Look what's around you and go for the same thing. I think something lightweight is going to be a game changer, but make sure that if you use that, it's intercompatible with other stuff. That will be my recommendation. What do you mean, Nick Ghost Touch? I didn't ghost touch my screen. They're not too cheap. Which one do I get? Yeah, I believe having the same thing is going to be a good thing. Hey there, any recommendation for small portable router for iPad or wireless recommendation? I'm probably gonna be unpopular opinion here. You guys probably will be pissed about that, but you know what's the best router that I have for all my events that work for every single iPad and every single iPhone all the time? I'm using a really old Apple router that I can get for around $20. Been using that for a year. I recently purchased some of those Airport Express, and they just work fine. I know every IT nightmare, it's an Apple is an IT nightmare for everybody, but yeah, those are still around. But that's the thing. They're still around, they still work great. And every IT guy cannot stand those router for a reason. You cannot play around with it. And that's the exact same reason why I'm using those. You fire it up, you set it up, and you forget about it. You don't set up VLAN, you don't set up protection, especially for a console. I mean, you don't set up that, but seriously, the most reliable, the small Airport, not the one that looks like, do I have a laptop brick? Not the one that looks like a laptop brick, but the small Airport The Airport Express, the tiny one, the tiny one that has one port, that has basically two port. You have one LAN and one WAN connection. You want that smaller one. If you go with the bigger one that is about the size of a Mac Mini, it's gonna be fine. A little bigger, you have 4 port in the back. Useful, but not really needed. You just only need 1 port for console connection. But yeah, the smaller one that I have, I paid 20 bucks on my local marketplace for that. And once I set it up, I never looked back. And even with my fine latest phone, it's working. Well, actually, it's an iPhone 13. But most musician I know, they don't have the latest phone, and especially iPad. Most musician I know still running iPad 2 or 3 for their chart, because it's not a day-to-day thing. And the iPad that they dedicate for that use, they don't want to play around with it. It's like for charts and for, console app. So they're using most of the time really old device, and really old device never been a problem with really old router. They were out pretty much at the same time. The technology handshake is happening. So yeah, Apple router is the way to go. Those are still around. Yeah, please hold on. Okay, Will. The stage locking mechanism that I'm talking about is the roto lock system. This is what, in North America, this is what you will find on most stage. They use an Allen key. There's a whole Allen key. You turn it around, and it just works. It always depends on what you want to do with it. I got a small Huawei with a SIM card in it. So if I need Spotify, you can go with that. I would avoid to have internet on that router if you have a console on it. If. That's just me, but if. I don't know, man. I don't. Those routers are not really affordable here in Canada because of the internet plan are just so expensive. I would not want to pay 50 bucks a month to have Spotify, or I'm just gonna use my phone because I have to pay 40 bucks a month to get internet to my phone, and that's the cheapest plan, by the way. And because I paid the phone, cell service in Canada is extremely high at cost compared to most places in the world. Yeah, you plug the IP console to go to the internet. Yeah, okay, those kind of things. But just when I set up a system for a console, I try to have less or as less possible point of failure. So having internet on those things is a no. And another reason is when the band is connected to my console, I don't want them to have pop-up on their phone. So if they are connected to my Wi-Fi and there's no internet on it, they do not either use all your data, depending on, I don't know, your situation, if you're data limited or not, but also they do not get pop-ups, they do not get text message, because everybody's on the same network. They can do airport share if they have to, but it's a closed network, and that's how I like it. Okay, let's move on to another subject that I want to talk about. Title of this video: did you know that Beringer is going on a war? I thought so when they were releasing the compact. I thought they were going on a war with Allen & Need for the SQ, but I believe the real war is going to happen, or the real war is getting started with this one. Ladies and gentlemen, here's the 6176 clone from Behringer the 676. I don't know if you guys saw this. It released this week. Behringer is going totally out of their mind right now with the amount of good stuff that they release. Look at this thing. They specially advertise it, and they took time to take inside video of the unit, and that is for a reason. I believe that Beringer, Okay, are we still here? Again, yes. Has it been 15 minutes? I don't know what's happening here. Okay, we're just gonna go on with that bug. Okay. You guys still there, right? I'm not touching anything. That's the freaky bit. Okay. You got hacked. I hope not. I hope I didn't get hacked. That would suck big time. But let's go back to what I was saying. Behringer released a clone of the 6176. I'm not really sure about that unit. I see the real one because one of my friends got one for his day-to-day tracking. He's a musician working mostly from home, tracking all this stuff. And he's doing all this vocal with, I believe he has a TLM, the 103 connected to that. Static. No, it's not actually static because, well, the thing is, I don't have anything that should trigger this action. And it's keep on doing it, so gotta be, I'm freaking out a little bit about this one, but as long as we're alive, we're good to go. Okay, back to the clone. This thing looks like a really good copy of the 6176. Okay. Every time that the video finish, it wants to trigger the scene out. So I'm just gonna take a look at it. Yes, it happened again. So I'm just gonna take a look at it and make sure that once the video is finished, it doesn't trigger that. So it's a few minute video. We'll go along with that, and we'll keep an eye on it. So look at the component inside that unit. We do see, and I'm gonna bring back the video, we do see really custom made transformer. And can I pause it? Yes. We do see custom made transformer. We do see vacuum tube. We have, nice build. Yes. I don't know enough about electronics to know exactly what every single part in that thing is doing. But to me, and I could be wrong, but to me, as far as I know about electronic, those yellow ceramic capacitor are good stuff, are the real thing. If I'm not mistaken, if it's not a off-brand, those trim pot looks fine, to be honest, and you can fine-tune them probably well. I don't know if every single unit will be fine-tuned, but you have the option to play around with it. Custom-made transformer, if they went out of their way to make sure that those transformers are up to spec with whatever kind of material were used in other ones, they can definitely make that happen. Are we back? Definitely a bug in, there's a bug in OBS with my scene switcher. All right. So, yeah, I keep on switching. We saw enough. Seriously, if Behringer went out of their way to make sure that this unit is good, they have the knowledge to make the parts the way they should go. They know where to cheat using surface mount stuff in the right places, you know, place where it's gonna matter or place where it's not gonna matter. I think they know enough about that stuff that they can make a really good copy in having the right part at the right place, having the right tube. This is probably in 12AX7. I don't know what's in the original, probably a 12AX7 too. Thank you very much for the reminder, Will, to hit the thumbs up. It's maybe it's gonna help my OBS session not to go bad on me. Probably not. But seriously, yeah, Beringer is at war with other clone manufacturer in the sense of introducing such a great unit at such a low price. Because, correct me if I'm wrong here in the chat, but I believe this is selling for $600 US, $699. Maybe it's going to be a little different in euros. It's basically less than like a fifth of the real unit. Those real units are going for around $350-$3,500. So you can get 5 or 6, depending on taxes and everything. You can get 5 or 6 for the price of 1. They're cloning the Moogs in the Moogs in half the price. Oh, it's $522. Okay, so you can basically get 4. Thank you very much, Paul, for subbing as a fellow Canadian. Thank you very much. I don't know what's gonna happen with those things, but if Behringer is after the clone market, where they ram into warm audio, they ram into the DIYer parts supplier, not part supplier, but the DIYer kit, they're probably never gonna go into DIY stuff. But if they offer a clone at such a low price, I would not try to build one myself. And also, Beringer, I must point that out, thank you for being the first one to ever make a clone like this. The 1176 was fairly clone over the years. There's a lot of option out there. There's a lot of really expensive ones that are perfect to every single component inside there. But I believe those design, or I was told that those design are not that complex to clone. 1176 is not, is not using any esoteric parts that cannot be found anywhere. So if they can get that right, if they can get the harmonic distortion of the preamp right, I believe they will have a good unit. And seriously, for the price that you will pay for around 522 euros, or for the 750 Canadian dollar for that unit, it's gonna sound good. Just by the component that I saw on there, I know it's not the cheapest of the cheapest it could be. It's gonna be a cheapest, I'm pretty sure that they cheap at the right place. Maybe the knobs are not gonna be the best ever. Maybe the power supply is not gonna last 40 years like the real units are probably, the old 1176. Some of them are still running the power supply from the original one. I hope this thing is not gonna start to freak on me every 5 minutes, because that will be annoying. All right. But yeah, seriously, good job, Behringer. Another news that we must talk about while we're here, and we're gonna be done with the news from Behringer. Let's take a look at this. Behringer released a app or an updated app. I don't know if MX Mix was out previously. This is the first time I'm hearing about it because, like probably most of you guys, I was using every single app for every single console that Behringer or Music Tribe ever released, because this new app, or the one that they seem to try to force everybody to go through, which is a good thing, is going to group all those 6 apps for the X32, M32, the MRXR, and it's going to be the same app for musician and for engineer. The app right now in the store, you can see the link description down below for iPad is there. I didn't try it. I didn't have time to try it, but it's definitely something that I'm putting on my list to do this week. But the MX has been around as beta for 2 years. Okay. Nice. They need a Copilot overhaul. There's some news coming about Copilot. That's all I'm gonna say. But there's some news happening with Copilot eventually. I would say, I'm pretty sure if Beringer do anything, it's going to be at the same time where they fix the maybe issue with Dante. Work in progress, guys. Don't give up. Be on the lookout for probably a firmware release soon. I was about to say next week, but no, probably soon, and eventually they're gonna drop out some new stuff for the wing compact, the wing, the rack, and also the Copilot app. Be on the lookout for that. Pretty sure this is on the way. Or yeah. Well, this one here is only for the few for the XR, the MR, the X32, and the M32. Nothing with the Flow. The Flow is totally in a different market. It's not there. You won't see anything happening with the Flow at this time. Flow is its own thing. The wing is its own thing. But the XR, MR18, the X32, M32, those are kind of the same group of software. So yeah, well, the Flow, what are we talking about? The Flow is a great console. I'm using it all the time for like small corporate event where I just need to have 1 to 4 microphone with a few playback. They should have made it USB-C. Yes, they should have made it USB-C. Maybe in the future they will have an upgrade for that with USB-C. But it took year, you know. Yeah, just the power connector that is bad. And yeah, the micro USB is just for power connection. It doesn't do anything else. Okay. Definitely something wrong here. Hey guys. This stream is not 16:9. Can I do this? Can I do this? I'm stuck. I'm stuck here. Locking my screen. Well, I'll try to lock my screen. Hold on. Do we have this? I said at the beginning of the stream, not too many tech problem, didn't I? It's like watching me through a keyhole, pretty much. Hold on, let me try this. If I go back to this, well, we can have the console view. Oh, there we go. Yep, it's all the OBS issue today. And I don't know what's causing it. That's so... OBS had an upgrade recently. I'm probably gonna need to upgrade some of my plugin. They probably not play well with the new version. I don't know why it's doing this, but I probably need to upgrade my scene switcher, my OBS MIDI plugin, and we're gonna drink some coffee about that, right? Time to drop OBS and buy the Rodecaster. That's the thing. I have an ATEM Mini Extreme ISO, like the top of the line ATEM right now, doing nothing in my living room. But the thing is, when OBS is working great, doing scene transition, like doing this. I'm gonna try back this. Doing the scene transition like this, having picture-on-picture, video going, having this video going, and having the smooth transition, and you just, it's a nightmare to do that kind of stuff on the ATEM. It's just not working. Not working as good or as smooth as OBS when things are going fine in OBS. So, yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna drop OBS. I'm on Mac, so forget about vMix. That's not an option. OBS is pretty much the way to go. And seriously, other than today, OBS has been going fine. Today is the worst time ever that I have with OBS. Okay, Podcaster video, or the Rodecaster video, great console. I'm pretty sure what I see about it is really good. If you can tell me how to do all the stuff that I just showed you, and doing the MIDI control, because I'm controlling this by the wing. All the scene switching is done over... Oh yeah, now I'm stuck again. Okay, so that's just a plugin issue. It has nothing to do with... it's not a native plugin from OBS. If I try to cut... And now I just lost it. And the keyhole thing is it's playing with me, right? Then let it for a second. There you go. Hold on. Yeah, I'm not gonna kill it just for today. Take a look at Mel's Maids. Okay. Thank you, James. I'll give it a try. Alright, so that was all the news that I had to share with you guys today. I wanted to do something a little more, professional. Say, hey, here's a new unit from Beringer. Here's the new in-ear from Behringer, and here's the new app from Behringer that's gonna, officially out and group all those apps that are now useless. Because one firmware update away, you're not gonna be able to use any of these. And these are not on the shelf yet, but it's gonna come out soon. This is not on the shelf yet. You cannot buy it now, but you can put it in your pre-order. That's I tried to make a professional show here. It's probably not gonna happen. Having a professional show is not happening, because every 5 minutes my OBS session is crashing on me. Thank you, Nick. Appreciate that. Okay, Will. Got any mid-side mic tips? Yes and no. Hold on. Do I have a fader start somewhere? Am I hitting a fader start with anything? Okay, I think I got something. Every time that I lift fader 4, it's going out. So, okay, let me do a quick... Let's dive into this together. Let me do a quick remote option here. Fader control is going to be off. Effects parameter is going to be off. Custom control. And I think I can do this and having my button still working. No. These two. Or this one, I believe. MIDI external control. Yes. Okay. Let me try to move those fader again. See? I was blaming OBS, but it's not OBS. It's every time that I do this that I'm hitting fader 4. That was throwing me out. So it's not OBS. So I'm not gonna buy a Rodecaster. I'm not gonna switch to a new firmware because I spent so many hours building that OBS session that I would cry if it ever crashed on me. So yeah, good. All right, let's go back to mid-side mic tips. I set the input to mid-side. It doubled the single XLR routing to the next channel with all dependent setting, making super huge podium mic tip work, at least for me. A mid-side is not really that. A mid-side situation usually is where you combine a cardioid mic pointing one way and you add on a figure 8 mic, or you had a figure 8 mic not pointing at the source but pointing to the side. Usually back in the day, when you had those two mic combination together, when you had one mic pointing at the front, one mic pointing at the side, you were putting a Y splitter on the figure 8 mic. Do I have one around here? No, I don't. But you would put a Y splitter on that mic, pan the left, or pan one channel left, pan one channel right, and flip the phase. You were blending that in. You were using basically 3 fader to do this, but blending that in, you were creating a middle channel with your pointing at the source mic, and you were running a stereo, one left, one right, phase inverted, to get the room sound. Really popular. Sorry, guys. Really popular in cinema work. There's also another technique called Bloomline. Bloomline is where you take 2 figure 8 channel or figure 8 mic, and you have one pointing at the source, and you were doing 2 mic to 2 Y splitters, or 4 channel, and you were basically having the source pointing center. You were having your side mics, or your figure 8 mic going that way, and you also created a 4th channel with the back of that figure 8 microphone. You were creating a back, so it was creating like a 360 microphone, 360 environment microphone, not just a left and right, because you were having your your side left, center. So basically your first your microphone pointing at the source center. You were having your side right, so microphone figure 8 pointing right, and you were adding a phase revert of the mic that was pointing at the source to the back. So it was creating like that 360 environment. Not really popular for live because you usually don't want the side or the back, but in cinema, in like room capture work, really popular miking setup. About a podium mic, I don't know if I would ever do that on a podium mic. I don't think it's the way to go. I don't really understand why it was working that well. But yeah, usually it's for surround sound that you're using those setup. You have your mid-side, basically, you use your mid-side basically that way. But okay, I'm curious. I'm gonna try that on the podium mic. Were you canceling the phase on something, or were you actually funny enough that you're talking about that, and I don't think I ever spoke about that on a channel. But every time that I'm doing a podium and I'm having two mic on it, I never, ever, for no reason, ever use both mic on at the same time. If there's one people talking into it, the way that or the problem that you're causing having two microphones pointing at one source and being slightly out of phase to another because the person is moving a little bit. You have those two mic pointing at you, and one is there as a backup. Usually you make sound check with one, you copy that to the other one, but you're creating phasing issue in between your two mics. So never, ever, ever use both mic on at the same time. You're not respecting the 3-to-1 rule. I'm not going to go over the 3-to-1 rule there. There's probably a bunch of video on YouTube that explain that. You can pan them hard like Dave Rat, dual PA style. Yes, but the problem is you're creating, like, if somebody, most of the time people are going to end up talking into one of those microphones. They're going to choose one and they're going to go, even if you have two on this, they're going to have like two mic. It's not going to create a phase problem because you're not doing dual mono, but if you are not, you're not respecting the 3-to-1 either. So there will be, well, some kind of canceling in the room, not in the console, but in the room you will have some kind of canceling. You don't need to overthink that. It's a podium mic. One people talking into one microphone. You have two. One is a backup, or what I usually do in situation where I know that the gear is really good. It's my stuff, and like I was doing. Never really spoke about that, but I was doing electoral tour here in Canada with head of parties. I was one of the assigned tech that did the sound or set up the sound in the room, and I was also feeding the media feed. So I was taking one of my microphones for the room and I was using the other one for the media feed. I was EQing it differently or pretty much none. I was taking that mic, and that second mic was only there to have really high volume, really high gain, like make sure that you hit that compressor. I was compressing it a little bit, EQing just a little bit, and I was sending that just to the media. They were linked together, so I knew that every time that I unmute my mic, they will go live both in the room and to the media feed at the same time. But every time that I was doing that, I was using one mic that is like more compressed, maybe EQ'd a little bit differently because I was thinking more about TV. So roll off maybe at around 200, where in the room I can get some presence by maybe going roll off at 160. I was going maybe for a little thinner on the TV side, but because I was feeding so many TV station through a media box, I was EQing it, compressing it for stream ready stuff, and I never had any complaint about it. So I'm gonna say it's pretty good. Oh yeah, Will, the two SM57, the President of the United States mic technique, where you have two SM57 with screen on it. The normal mid-side technique, that's not gonna work. That's not how mid-side is meant to work. And most of the time, I suggest that configuration to many people using an XLR gooseneck that I probably have around somewhere here or not. But I used to have a gooseneck XLR, and I was putting a SM58 or the 201, Behringer Dynamic 201 on it with a windscreen. But most people think it's too big, especially when it comes to dealing press conference with women. They despise those microphones. It's too big. It's blocking their face. They want to be seen. They want to be heard, but you have to change your mind when you're doing television, when you're doing stuff that will be air. They want to be seen. They want to be good looking, and sound for them is coming second. So yeah, the double 57 is really great if you have a really good room and you could put them here. Most of the time, ladies that are 5'6", go to a podium, having the mic about there. They will take the mic, they will drop it down to where it's not in their way because they want to have it here. They also try to look tall. This is something that is really important to them. They try to look tall and they want to have their mic pointing like this. So if you have a 57, a bunch, and it's like there for a lady that is 5'6", that's not gonna cut it. It will be pretty much your last show, or it will be your last show with that config. So having a podium mic, 1 or 2, you just, Sheps works great, sure, if you have the budget for Sheps. But usually the Shure mic is what I use most of the time, the podium mic from Shure. You have, on my podium, in my venue, I specifically ask to only have 1 to make sure that that's never going to happen. That's never going to be an issue. I only make sure to have 1 working great. That microphone never move. It's only in that podium. It only been adjusted. But make sure to never create phase problem if you have 2 of those microphones on any given situation. You 1 is there as a backup. You don't need 2. You run 2, or you install 2 and you will use them as a backup. If you have 2 people at the podium and they separate the mic, sure, it becomes 2 separate mic for 2 separate people. Turn them both on. But if you only have 1 person with the, I call it the coat hanger, where you have 2 mic on the podium, they do this and they come to 1 here. Never turn them on at the same time. Ever. I hope that's gonna cut it for that one. Okay, sorry, I misread that. The President mic are Sheps capsule in the mic in the SM57. Probably. They sound really good. 57 sounds really good. By the way, I have an idea for a video. It's probably going to be shoot tomorrow, where I want you guys' opinion. Have you ever heard of this? Have you ever heard that if you... Come on, everything's falling apart. Have you ever heard that if you take a SM57 and you're doing this on a SM58, that you just created 2 SM58? Anybody heard that? I want to know if it's just me, but I heard back when I was in school that in tricky situation, when you have too many SM58, you can just take a 58 and take the grill off, and you just created an SM57. Or something that is going to be really, really close to a SM57. I don't think this is true, because both mic, even if they have pretty much the same, distance between the bottom and the capsule, looking at the 57, if they are really, really equal side by side, they're almost, the capsule is not here on top. It's a little lower, about the same size as the 58. I heard that you could create basically a 58 versus a 57. I want to experiment with that, and also something that I want to experiment with, and that's the reason why I have this thing around here. I want to know how big of a difference the capsule is going to make on a SM58. My understanding is, because if this is true, that you can take a 57 and you can, or a 58, and remove the capsule and create a 57, the only thing that matters here is the grill, because taking the grill off changed the way that the sound has been imported into the mic, or being ported into the mic, should I say, and this should affect the sound. Did I create a Beta 57A by doing this? Because this is a Beta 57A capsule. I don't think so. Or maybe I'm wrong. And I also want to try it with the Beta 87 capsule. It's going to be no windscreen, sure, but 57 don't have any windscreen, or just a tiny phone. I'm really curious to see what's going to happen with that. I want to do some measurement and everything, and answer if the grill on the 58, or how much grill on a 58 affect the tone and how much no grill affect the tone. Because I did this for real with a Beta 58. One of my singer on a show said that his microphone, his wired microphone, most of the time, is a Beta 57. It's like really, really my favorite mic, dynamic mic for vocal. And he said, well, we have a Beta 58A here for our wireless. Is it close enough for me to sing into it and have the same feeling as the Beta 57, Beta 57A? The result were not concluding at first, so what I did is I took a Beta 57A capsule and I screw it on his microphone. And if I remember correctly, me and him, because I was working monitor at that time, me and him, we noticed a huge difference in the bottom end response of that microphone because of the capsule. And as far as I know, people, when they compare the 57 versus the 58, they said that the 58 has a fatter or more bass heavy frequency response. Are we in a situation where this is the same microphone? Because Shore said many times, and you can go on Shore YouTube channel to verify what I'm saying here. This is the same capsule. This is the same dynamic element into both microphone. Depending on the version, you will have a difference in air between the capsule and the bottom of the microphone. I know it's really hard for you to see, but the amount of hair that will pass through here versus what's behind the capsule here, and let me go back. Let me go back to this. The amount of hair between the capsule. Can you see the grill right there? That's an air port. That's an air intake for the microphone capsule. And let me tell you that this is where the magic happened in those microphones. This is why cupping the mic is stupid. You're blocking those ports. You change the pattern of the mic. And knowing that, cupping the mic physically changes the frequency response because you block the amount of air. I believe that changing the grill around the microphone is like having a different air intake, a different size of port on this, and I believe it will change the bass response. So this is the video that I'm trying to do this week for you guys. I hope it's going to be a good one. We're going to use my old beat up SM58, and I'm going to drop that here for now. Sure, yes, I think I've heard that when watching Curtis Judd live stream, interviewing someone who used to work for Shure. Probably. And there's a video from Shure about that. Have I tried the SM7DB? No, I didn't. Thing as a SM7B with a preamp built into it. I don't think they changed the design. I think the only thing that they advertised was the change. The change was the preamp in there. And Shure so far have made really good preamp over the years. I don't think it's going to be less good than an old, probably somebody say that his old SM7B with a cloud lifter or a different kind of preamp will sound better. But honestly, nothing that I would be too worried about. Make good music. I pre-ordered 2 of the Neve pre's and now one 676. I was half asleep and didn't realize what I was doing. Yeah, sure. Sure, Edwin. I wish that I could excuse myself doing the same thing when I ordered 2 compact at 3 in the morning. I would like to, I didn't know what I was doing. I thought I was dreaming and I ordered those, right? All right. Did I miss anything in the chat? So far, so good. Yeah, we all want those excuses Right, Nick? All right. Guys, we've been going this for a while. I started the outro so many times that I don't know if I should start it or just end the stream like this. I don't know. Hold on, Sheriff's got a really good one here. Do you think... Oops. Hold on. Got my chat out. Do you think the AI will come to digital consoles? Yes, the HD96 has some AI feature. Are we going to be out of a job anytime soon? I don't think so. And quote me on that or not, AI is not going to last long. Not in the audio world. Or actually, I was looking at a video the other day, and I don't remember if it was Linus Tech Tip one show or another video, but I believe it was Linus and Luke that were talking about how much AI is going to become so good to the point where it's going to be too good that you won't be able to recognize the difference between AI and human work. And this is where everything's going to fall, where people will ask you know, to have human do the work. So AI will do so big of a mistake that it's going to become so good at some things, and it's going to be so bad at other thing that at the end of the day, when it's going to be almost equal. Yeah, I don't believe in Terminator. Maybe, but yes, but it's going to become so good at something that it's not going to matter. Rob, to be honest, I think we're going to go more Matrix than the Matrix. I think we're going to go more in that route and having Neo as our savior than having Schwarzenegger coming back as a robot. Will be also a good cameo for them if they send Arnold Schwarzenegger as a robot years before that to make it an actor, so we can have, you know, clone of Schwarzenegger eventually in the future, getting the Catch-22 thing happening. It would be, that would be funny. All right, guys, thank you so very much for watching this live stream. I'm gonna try to enable my knob again, my little button here for my live stream to go out. I think I can do it this time, so we're gonna take our time. I'm gonna go and let me bring you guys along for the ride. The way that I program my CC, my custom control for my channel, is I do CC push, or actually I have two. I have a toggle to alternate between camera. I program that up. And I also have a push for when I push a button, I go out. Or I do an action. I can do my pause that is on 16, or I can do my out stream. If I made everything correctly, once I'm here and once I'm... Hold on. Once I'm here and once I'm pushing the user, I should be out. So on that note, thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for struggling with me through the OBS problem. You guys are such a great community. I'm having so much fun to do this every Monday. Until the next one, I want you guys to please take care of yourself. And I see you all later.